Hello, I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be ranking every single series of Taskmaster except for the New Year's Treat and the Champion of the Champions. And yeah, so it's going to be slightly different to my ranking each contestant on Taskmaster because I'm actually going to do it from 1 to 10. So it's like, yeah, I have to actually put it all in order, which is really hard, let me tell you. And it's actually inspired by this comment I got on my Taskmaster contestant video. And I'm also going to be doing what they do where I pick my favourite contestant from each series as well. Just a little disclaimer, this is obviously completely my opinion, so if the series that I put in last is your favourite, then that is absolutely fine. I'm not saying you can't have that opinion. Obviously we're all going to have our favourite season that's going to be different to somebody else's, and we're going to enjoy certain aspects differently, you know. And yeah, I do genuinely love every season of Taskmaster, so there's not any that I dislike, so I'm not saying that a series is bad, it's just, in my opinion, there are stronger seasons. So I did have a rubric to judge each season by. It's not going to stick to it exactly, but kind of like a general idea of what I'm ranking each season by, and it's going to be the tasks, the contestants, and the studio environment. So the tasks, judging on how original the tasks are, how entertaining they are, kind of how much they provide kind of an opportunity for the contestants to really express themselves and really be inventive with it. And then the contestants, I'm going to judge on how entertaining I find them and kind of their chemistry. And then the studio environment is kind of how people discuss the tasks, you know, the general feel of the studio. And yeah, let's get started. So in 10th place, I have put Series 6. I think there is a general consensus that Season 6 is weaker than the rest. Obviously not everybody will feel that, but that's kind of the general idea that what I've got. And yeah, I agree with it. For me, the contestants lack the chemistry that we see in other seasons. I didn't really get a sense of, you know, with some of the seasons, it's kind of like they've got their own little family, like they're all together, they're all doing tasks and it's fun, whereas I didn't really get that sense with this season. And I do also feel that it was kind of disadvantaged by the fact it was the first season to get 10 episodes. So obviously the contestants were, you know, it might have worked better if there was just 5 episodes. But because there was 10, like double the length of what we started with, then these contestants kind of have to really sustain themselves throughout 10 hours of television, which I just don't think they did. I think, not that they weren't bad, like I think Liza, I wasn't a massive fan of her for the first part of the season, but she actually grew on me as the season developed, so I think that is a plus. You do kind of get the development with that, but she was the only one that I felt my opinion of her changed as the series went along, whereas everybody was kind of static. Yeah, the individual contestants, like when they were doing their own tasks, that was still like fine. Again, I think for me it really lacked the kind of studio environment that I kind of love about Taskmaster. It wasn't as exciting for me as other seasons were, and I just kind of felt it was a bit lackluster at times. Favourite contestant, I am going to say was Tim. I think he did have some really good moments, and I felt like he was the one that kind of put more energy into the studio environment than the rest of them did. I would say Liza might be there if, like towards the end of the season, like I said, like she really did grow on me as the season developed, and the cake task was hilarious. And yeah, like overall, a brilliant season. Like every season of Taskmaster is going to be brilliant. But yeah, out of all, in comparison to the rest, I feel like this one definitely was weaker. So in 9th place, I have Series 8. And again, when I was watching, I did really enjoy this series. But in comparison to the rest, I do feel like it's not the one I'm most excited to rewatch. I have skipped it a few times when I'm watching the series, same with Season 6. Those are the two that I kind of like, when I'm watching Season 7, I'm like, I'll just skip to Season 9. So I really enjoyed the awkward chemistry between Joe and Sean. I thought that was kind of funny, and it worked really well, both when they were doing their group tasks and kind of in the studio environment, compared with the confidence of Greg Davies and like Lou and Ian. However, I did not really like the like almost hostile competitiveness between Lou and Ian. I felt like it did make me a bit uncomfortable at times, and the fact that Ian had to like apologise because he realised how badly it looked. And yeah, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like I just didn't really enjoy it that much. like, yeah, it was just a bit too hostile at times, and that really, like, Taskmaster for me is light-hearted, it's funny, you got that edge of competitiveness, like, competitiveness does help, but yeah, it was just a bit too much for me in this season. The tasks, I think the season did this season did start out quite strongly, like the get as close to Alex without him seeing task, I think was genius, and there were some really good tasks, like, within the season, and like the apologise to Alex one was good as well. My favourite contestant from Series 9 was Joe. I thought he was really funny and awkward, and I think he stood out in a way that was quite entertaining, and yeah, so Joe is my favourite contestant from Season 8. So in 8th place, I've put Season 3, which I was really shocked by because I do genuinely love Season 3. And yeah, I've had to kind of look at this kind of objectively, I've had to look at this objectively rather than subjectively, because I do find the season very entertaining, but it is kind of weaker in some things. Like, I think there's only 5 episodes. I remember it being slightly weaker than Seasons 1 and 2. The cast was great together and had some really good moments. However, I felt like some of the contestants were a bit too similar. I think Al Murray and Dave Gorman, while I do find them both very entertaining and I think they were very well suited to Taskmaster, they were just a bit too similar in their approaches to tasks. It's kind of like you're watching people do it twice. However, Season 3 does have some of my favourite tasks in. The one when they had to try and work out the job of the anaesthetist, which I cannot say. But yeah, like, I do enjoy Series 3. The reasons why it was a bit weaker is it's kind of a bit low-key compared to the other seasons. Like, there was nothing really amazing that happened. It was consistently good, but there wasn't any moments of, like, where I was completely, like, shocked by it, if that makes sense. And also kind of the cheatingness of Al Murray kind of got a bit tiring at the end. Like, it was still entertaining, but yeah. And my favourite contestant from Season 3 was Rob Beckett. I think he was perfect contestant for Taskmaster, and he did a really, really great job. I think the fact that he was slightly delirious really helped him with that. Like, the task where he had to surprise Alex, I think, was one of my favourite moments from Season 3. I think that, yeah, absolutely amazing. So in 7th place is Series 10. I absolutely love the cast, and it was the perfect show to watch, like, while we're in lockdown. I thought, yeah, it was brilliant. The cast was amazing. I loved every single person on the show. The main weakness with Series 10 was the tasks. They were a bit too complicated, and it was so easy for people to get disqualified. And yeah, they were just a bit too restrictive, and it was quite hard for some contestants to really kind of be creative. They kind of had to stick by kind of exactly what was expected by them. And also the prize task was very weak, which, while entertaining because they were bringing in, like, rubbish, it did kind of get a bit tiring and kind of made me worry about the prize tasks in the future with future seasons, because they were kind of running out of ideas. So yeah, that's why Season 10 is weaker. And with Season 10 as well, like, as I said, I really, like, loved all the contestants. I did feel sorry for both Daisy and Richard at times. Yeah, there were times where it kind of felt a bit too real, and I felt genuinely, like, upset at times, because, you know, seeing Richard look so defeated when he couldn't guess what the hippo was, and then to see Daisy so upset that she lost, like, it was just a bit too real. It was really hard picking a favourite because I absolutely loved Katherine Parkinson, but I'm going to say my favourite was Moran. Like, he really surprised me. He was the only one that I didn't know. Yeah, he was the only one I didn't know, and he was absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to see what he does next because he's absolutely brilliant. So in 6th place is Series 2, again, a series that I do really, really love. I think the contestants were all really good. It just wasn't as strong as other ones. Like, individually, I love all the contestants. However, I feel like sometimes it would have been better if they were with kind of other contestants. I don't know. I felt like the chemistry wasn't there, I think, as it is with other series. They had some absolutely brilliant tasks, and the one with kind of building a bridge, there's absolutely some amazing, like, quotable moments from that show and from that series, and I loved all the contestants individually. I wish the chemistry was a bit better. The tasks were brilliant, and we did have some like shocking moments like Potato Gate and the under the table and Spanish things. There were some absolutely brilliant moments in that, and I love the task where they have to buy a task for the Taskmaster, and I think all of them did brilliantly with this. And yeah, picking my favourite contestant with this was really hard, because I do generally love each of them individually. I think for me it is between top 3 for me are probably Jo, Katherine and John. All of them were great in their like individual ways. However, I'm going to go with Jo Wilkinson. Yes, Jo Wilkinson was my favourite contestant from season 2 for kind of a lot of reasons. Just his general attitude to it was brilliant. He was kind of didn't really care, but then also like when he did well, he wanted everybody to know that he knew that he did well, and I thought that was brilliant. Oh, another thing that kind of disadvantaged season 2 was I think the scoring was a bit off with, you know, when they kind of introduce a different scoring system for certain tasks when, with, you know, where they threw the rabbit into the hat. Like Katherine got way too many points. I feel like they should have just done it. They should keep all tasks to just first place gets 5 points, you know, second place gets this, you know, that, instead of being like, oh, we'll count how many you get and that's how many points you get. I feel like that is very unfair, and they've done it in other series as well. So in 5th place, I have put series 9. Again, this is really hard. I think as we get further up and up, it's really hard for me to kind of pick and choose between seasons. I've like flip-flopped so many times, and it's literally like a hair between each season at this point. So yeah, series 9. I love the competitiveness between Ed and Rose. I thought it was great. And it wasn't as hostile as the competitiveness we saw in season 6. I thought the dynamic between all of the contestants was really good. I felt like they all kind of brought an individual kind of style to the tasks, and that was really good. Katie Wicks really surprised me. I've known Katie, not known personally, you know, but like I've seen Katie Wicks in a lot of things, and I think she's brilliant. And yeah, brought a really like cool demeanour to the show that I don't think we've really seen in other contestants. And yeah, she was brilliant. One thing I didn't really like that much was kind of Jo and David. At some points I felt like I was just shouting at them to just do better, because I knew they had the potential to actually do something good, and it was kind of felt that they were kind of throwing it away for the sake of, you know, playing that kind of like cool, I don't care kind of look. And yeah, at some points that was a bit annoying, which is why it's a bit lower than other seasons. And again, the scoring, again, as I said before, there was the one where they had to guess like the laminator or horse. And even though that task was really entertaining and like Jo was amazing at it somehow, again, I think the scoring was just not great. I don't think they should do scoring like that. Yeah, so my favourite contestant, I'm going to say, was Katie Wicks. I just have a soft spot for Katie Wicks, even though I do absolutely love Ed Gamble as a comedian, and Rose Matafeo really surprised me with her performance. Right, so these next 4 are really hard to choose between. I've literally like gone between like all of these so many times, and it literally just depends on what I'm feeling like at the time. So in 4th place, I've put series 1, but honestly, this could easily go up to like 1st place. As I said, I keep kind of changing these ones up, but this is like the blueprint of Taskmaster. The chemistry between the contestants is absolutely brilliant, and individually all of the contestants did really, really well. I think obviously they were still experimenting with the show, and I do feel like there were some tasks that were slightly weaker than others. However, overall it was absolutely brilliant, and I think the main thing of why I love Series 1 is obviously, like, I know the contestants are brilliant, the environment was brilliant, the kind of editing was brilliant. I think it's more of kind of like a nostalgia thing to me, because I first started watching Taskmaster when Series 1 was airing. So Series 1 was my first introduction to Taskmaster, and it's what made me fall in love with Taskmaster. So I'm obviously going to have, like, kind of not see the issues with Season 1. And a lot of people have put this kind of low down in rankings, which I don't understand. I think it's brilliant. And my favourite contestant from Season 1 was Romesh. Romesh was absolutely brilliant. And again, a comedian that I think at the time I didn't know. It's so hard for me to remember because it was quite a long time ago. I liked his kind of dynamic between really competitive and putting everything on the line, and also kind of the nonchalant attitude about him and the angriness about him. I thought it was brilliant and perfectly suited to Taskmaster. So in third place is Series 4, and yeah, again, I think this is a brilliant season, mainly due to the contestants. Each of the contestants was brilliant, and again, it brought a very different dynamic to the show. Each of them was different and unique and amazing in their own way, and I think that's, the kind of contestant list you want for Taskmaster. And yeah, the tasks were really good. Everyone kind of went all out, which I really, really enjoyed. And I think I knew every single contestant. Yes, I knew every single contestant. Oh, maybe not Lolly. But yeah, I was so excited for the season when it first was announced. My only issue, I think, with season 4 is I do think Hugh was underscored tremendously at points, and I do think Noel was overscored, and that just really annoyed me. That is just, if they just didn't do that, I think season 4 could be my favourite series. But at the moment, it's staying in third place. So in second place, I have put Series 5. So again, there was a brilliant cast. As I've said multiple times, they brought a unique dynamic each, and that was brilliant. Individually, they were all brilliant. In group tasks, they were all brilliant, and as a whole, they were brilliant. The chemistry was amazing, and you could really feel that everybody was enjoying the show, and I really like it when that happens. I do have some issues with it. I think Mark was kind of treated a bit harshly. Justice for Mark. I would have been happy with anybody in this season winning, which I think is quite rare for a series. I literally thought, well, actually no, to be fair, Nish didn't deserve to win. I think because everybody else was so strong in their performance, it kind of made Nish look even worse in comparison. Yeah, the tasks were brilliant in this series. I think, yeah, the group tasks, I think they were particularly strong with the group tasks. It's led to 2 of the greatest songs ever written. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I have some, really fun memories. Bob was absolutely brilliant, and Sally surprised me with how amazing she was. Again, I knew every contestant when I first watched this series, and every one of them surprised me. And my favourite contestant, this again, really hard, genuinely love all of them, but I've got to go with Bob Mortimer. Bob Mortimer was made for Taskmaster. He was made for this kind of thing, and yes, Sally Phillips is a close second, but yeah, Bob Mortimer. So in first place, that means it's Series 7, and is this really much of a surprise? Season 7 is the strongest season they've ever made. Again, I knew every single contestant before this show aired, so that obviously had a huge advantage. James Acaster is one of my favourite comedians ever. I think he is brilliant and amazing. Yeah, all of them brought a very unique approach to the tasks, and every single task was done kind of differently, and I really, really enjoyed that. And again, I would have been happy no matter who won. Again, Phil was a bit weaker, but brilliant nonetheless. And yeah, it was actually surprisingly hard for me to pick a favourite here. Overall, I think the marking was fair. Only a few minor issues that I thought I would have given higher marks for some people. But yeah, again, a brilliant chemistry between the tasks. It kind of had that good dynamic between kind of being low-key, just being silly, and then having those outrageous moments, which when they come gradually in the season and sporadically is absolutely amazing. Whereas with season 10, as I said before, it was just too much of it all the time, of these outrageous shouty moments. Whereas in season 7, you could feel the build-up of tension until James just exploded. And that was brilliant. One of the most amazing tasks ever, where they had to tie themselves up and then go put on the boiler suit. That was just genius. Whoever came up with that idea, amazing. I just get so excited to rewatch season 7. The fact that Jess falling off the stage, the fact that it happened on that season, I think it just made it funnier because of how competitive they were. But again, it wasn't too competitive. Season 7 just has the perfect mix of amazing contestants, amazing dynamic, creativity and originality, and just excellence. And so, do I even have to say this? My favourite contestant from season 7 was James Acaster. But again, I absolutely love everybody, and Rod Gilbert was amazing, and yeah, that one, surprisingly, I think I did actually have to think about whether James was my favourite contestant. because of how brilliant everybody was. But yeah, I can't betray James A. Cassidy. He is my favourite. That is the end of the video. Obviously, I haven't gone very in-depth of each season because otherwise this video would be so long. But yeah, so let me know your opinions. And again, this is just my opinion. If you disagree with me, that is fine. And yeah, let me know what your favourite series is. And thank you again to this amazing comment which inspired this video. And yeah, if you really like this video, please give it a like, it's really appreciated. And if you want to see more content to do with Taskmaster, then subscribe and I will have more videos out soon. Thank you for watching, bye!